feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright, echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, how are you all? Good to be back after spending last night over on Web Sleuths Live. Nice to be back here on my channel tonight, and got some stories for you. I'm not going to talk about Aaron Patterson tonight. I think I gave you everything I had earlier this week, but we have a strange story that I want to talk to you about straight up. It's a very tragic story. It came up in the news today, and I want to have a talk about it because I was talking to Mrs. Ping about it before, and I don't understand what is going on here. I just don't get it. It says here that a baby has died after being hit by a freight train near Narrabri in New South Wales, right? It was a 1-year-old girl. 1-year-old little girl. Now, it doesn't make sense. And it says here the 1-year-old girl was hit near Narrabri in New South Wales on Friday evening. That was yesterday for people in Australia. Paramedics arrived at the scene around 7:50 p.m. in the evening and treated the girl for serious injuries. She was taken to hospital where she later died. Police were told the infant was walking along Barrambah Street when she was hit. A 22-year-old man who was driving the train at the time was taken to hospital for mandatory testing. A crime scene has been established. Now, this is the area here. I'm going to put it up on the screen for you. I am very confused. How can a 1-year-old child go for a walk? Was there any adults involved? Was there mom or dad nearby? How is there a 1-year-old child that went for a walk? I'm so confused because I don't get it. They're not like, oh, the child was with its mother or father and escaped from the parents and got hit by a train, unfortunately. It just says the 1-year-old child was going for a walk. 1 years old. I don't get it. I don't really understand how a 1-year-old. And it says here, officers attached to Oxley Police District were told the child was walking along the road before being clipped by the train. And that's all the information we have. That the child was walking along the road and then got clipped by the train. Whatever happened is very sad. And it's awful for that little girl's family that their 1-year-old child died in such a horrific way. But I don't understand how the child. How's it walking along a train line? Rachel said, right, why is there a 1-year-old anywhere near the train tracks? Did they escape from home or something? Well, that's the only thing I could think of is that somehow they got out of the property and made it down to the. Maybe you know how little kids love trains and buses and aeroplanes and things like that. Maybe it is a location they had been taken before to look at the trains and they wanted to go back and look at the trains going through. I don't know, but when this popped up in the news this morning, I was just like, I don't understand how a 1-year-old was down there. There's nothing here about a parent at all, and I'll take you to New South Wales Police, and I'll show you what they have to say. Now, this is the New South Wales Police website, and they just say, a child has died after being struck by a train in the state's west. They say at about 7:50 p.m., emergency services were called to Barrambah, and they say following the reports a child had been hit by a freight train. There you go. They say a crime scene has been established. Well, that is interesting. A crime scene has been put in place. I would think if this was an accident, there probably wouldn't be a crime scene, right? Like you wouldn't have a crime scene if someone just accidentally got hit by a train. They'd be like, "Oh, that's a terrible accident. Let's you know, write to the coroner." And it says here a report will be prepared for the coroner and investigations have commenced into the circumstances of the crash slash accident. So the fact that they are investigating tells me they also have some uh, concerns about how a 1 year old child was anywhere near the train tracks. It is very strange. I don't think I've ever heard of a story like this that a 1 year old child somehow got hit by a freight train, except if it was deliberate or the child was got out of their home and went running or something like that, had been running away from the property and their parents lived on the back of a train line. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any other. Yeah, there's another article here. Here's another photo for you of the scene. This is the railway of where the toddler was hit. Yeah, so the child got taken to hospital but later died. The Narrabri mayor, Daryl Tiemann, said the community was deeply upset. He said, our hearts go out obviously to the family of the little girl who tragically lost her life. It's a devastating event and really deeply affected our close knit community. There's a young family that's moved into the area, is my belief. So they're saying that the family had only just arrived in the area. And he says it is a tragedy. I agree. They say the farming town of Barban, I hope Barnbar, has a population of about 170 people. And they said, yeah, the train driver, a 22-year-old man, was not hurt but was taken to hospital for mandatory testing. And yeah, that's all I can tell you. Here I'll show you where. So if you know New South Wales, so this is north. If you know where Sydney is, Narrabri is like really far north. It is inland from Coffs Harbour. So it's quite far up the north coast, and then you go inland from there. So many hours north of Sydney. So Chipmunk said, I feel bad for the train driver. Me too, right? Me too. That guy's having a really bad day. Hey, Joe, what's up, brother? Good to see you. I Hate Morning says, you were a challenge for your mum. You escaped to go play on the railroad tracks at around 3. Do you think you could have done that at 1 years old? Your husband was notorious for escaping. Is that a joke? Are you trying to say, like, the old wife is a ball and chain and he was notorious for escaping from you? And he's like Houdini, but in a husband type situation. No? Okay. Rachel said, so there was a home and a family. There seems to be info missing. I agree. There seems to be some sort of like giant chunk of information that is not apparent in the article at all. So what is going on? I'm not sure, but I thought I would at least tell you about that because I spent about an hour this morning just looking at it going, how does that work? How does this happen? How does a child die in this particular way? Chipmunk said, "What is the youngest age a child can walk?" I don't know, 9 months or something like that, probably. What- They're saying here about 1 year to a year and a half is when they could walk around 100 meters on their own. I don't know if that's true, but that is what the Googling said. Kim said, "My daughter could walk at 10 months. Could she walk like down the road on her own? Could she walk down to the mailbox at the end of your street? Could she do that?" I Hate Morning said, "My kids could run at 9 months old." Olympians, apparently. Um, that's all I can tell you. But I wanted to at least share it with you because it had boggled my mind on how this poor little girl met such a horrific end to her life. I mean, not even 2 years old. One. You think of how many years we've had on this earth. Like I've had over 40. You guys may have had more or less. This little girl, only one. That's all she got. She got just 1 year on this earth with her parents, with her family. That's very sad. It's very sad. You think of all the work that goes into uh, having a child, birthing the child, you know, caring for it for that year of its life, and then for it all to end in this particular way is uh, really horrible, really, really sad. So, not really the type of stories we normally talk about, but it just caught my eye because of the circumstances for it. I was like, this is very odd to me. So, I don't know. There's no information on like how far away they lived. Did they live just on one of these properties on the back of it? Did the child somehow just walk out of a gate and didn't know what it was doing and just walk straight into a train? Either way, your hearts go out to the family, the community, but also the first responders who had to go there and deal with what happened to the child. Because they're saying the child just got clipped by the train, and the damage to the child was pretty bad, apparently. Jackie said, "Mine could run and get ahead of you at 9 months old." So maybe the child could move a decent distance on its own. Here, I'm going to try to see if we can find the area. Barnabar Street in Barnbar. Yes, we have weird names that look like it is a toddler trying to talk. The place is called Barrambar, and it's got weird names. Let's see. Barrambar Street is right here. Can we put a thing there? Yeah. Let's go this way. So this is the railway track or railroad track. There's not really like there's a couple of houses here, and there's a few further up. But as you go out, there's nothing here. Look, there's nothing over here. There's a few up here though. Let's go up here. Can we go down here? Yes. I mean, there's properties right here, not too far from the train line, but the child would have to navigate the fence. The child would have to get through that fence and then get to the train track. Let's go further down. And then it turns into a dirt road where apparently Google cars did not want to go down. So that's, yeah, there's only a couple of properties. Let's go. Can we go to the other side of the train track? Let's go down this way. There's not much down here either. A giant dam. but no other homes. So I don't know how that child got to the railway line because, as you can see, there's no real homes. There's some over here, but it's a bit of a walk for that child to do. Yeah, what if we go down this way? Look at this. Almost looks like America, like Midwest America, with these type of silos and things like that. Yeah, there are properties, but they're not that close to the railway line. Hmm. Yeah, so they definitely said the child was hit on this particular street back here. This street here, this cross street that goes across the railway line. This is the street they said the child was hit. So how the child was hit, Ping doesn't know. So New South Wales, New South Wales. Uh, that is what the area looks like. And this is a problem in Australia. You can see how you can just walk up to the railway line. This is something that the government has been trying to fix for a while now. In Melbourne, this was sort of like in every suburb in Melbourne, how you can just sort of get to the railway line and it's on ground level. In the last decade, they have put millions of dollars into removing these type of railway crossings. So now it is just a road, and underneath, like they dug underneath and put the train underneath it. So now, or above it. So they either dug down and went below, or they put like a ramp above the crossing. So nowadays, a lot of them have gone in Melbourne, and a lot of other states in Australia are trying to get rid of these type of what they call a level crossing. They're trying to get rid of them. Rachel said it looks like it could have been the houses you showed. Yeah, the ones up here. I mean, it's possible, right? There are a few properties right here, right there. So if the family had only just moved there, it's pretty sad that they moved to a new community. We're trying to fit in, enjoy their new life in the country, and now they've lost, unfortunately, their 1-year-old kid. Sean said Barnby is about halfway to Burke near Boggabury. Never heard of it. Damn Australian names for towns. Yeah, there's nothing there. There's not really anything in the area. It's very, very rural. Yeah, let's go back. Can we go? So there's the overview of the town. It is a very little town. There's not much here, right? They have a school, they have a hotel, apparently, and that is about it. They don't have too much more than that. There's a few properties, and that's it. Most of the people seem to live on this side of the tracks, not this one that we went to. Most of them seem to live on this particular side, but um, there's your overview of it. Either way, very, very awful. Why a child had to die like that, I don't know. Sorry about that. Sean says we all have a hotel. I do when I play Monopoly. I definitely have a hotel. Yeah, we'll find out. If I get more information, I will tell you. Uh, I have another update before we talk about Melodee. I have another update. Do you remember I talked to you about the woman who somehow got pushed, ran through a plate glass door, severed her arm, and died from her injuries? Well, that day that we were talking about it, I said to you that he was in custody being questioned over that death of his partner. He has now been charged with murder. So those charges were forthcoming, and he is now going to face a charge of murder for the death of his ex-partner. Hold on. Yeah, so her name is Claire Austin, and they did end up charging her ex-partner. He was charged with murder, and not only that, he was charged with coercive control of Claire Austin. One of the saddest stories of DV that I think I've ever heard. They're all very sad, but this one is horrific. So she died after lacerating her arm by walking or being thrown through, we don't know yet, a plate glass door. So, like a door with like glass in it. Somehow she was so desperate to get away from him, she just ran through the door. At least that's what he says, and cut the artery in her arm. And then she died a few days later in hospital. But a great update to it that they have finally charged him, and he will probably go to trial at some point. So he was due to appear in court on Friday, but I did not see an update for it. Yep, here we go. There are new details. So they say new details as Lee Loughlin faces court accused of Claire Austin's murder after she allegedly severed her arm running through a glass door in Sydney's Randwick. And let's see what these new details are. So apparently he did not apply for bail when he appeared in court. And according to the court documents, it is alleged that he engaged in abusive behavior which intended to coerce or control Claire and could cause fear that violence would be used against her. Uh, Horrible. This poor lady. I want to see if there's any out. There's a photo of the two of them. Let me see if I can find any more details. Okay, that's all we got. That's all we got. Hopefully, we'll see a brief of evidence at some point, and we'll be able to tell you more about about what happened that day in that home. So, did she walk through that? Let's have a look. I don't know if it was this. They said it was some sort of like adjoining door. I don't know if it's this particular one, but to walk through those particular sliding doors, they're pretty they're pretty strong. You would have to be really running to go through that type of door, but maybe she did. Maybe she did. But yeah, that is good news. Lee Loughlin charged with murder, charged with DV slash coercive control. It's a great use of those new laws in New South Wales. So that coercive control law is not that old. It's only been around for a handful of years, and to see it finally used in a case that really called for it is great. Let me see if I can find anything else about Mr. Lee Loughlin. Let's see. Lee Loughlin. Robert Loughlin. All right. Let's see if we can get an update for his court thing. Clear. No, that's not how we spell that. Good work, Ping. Actually, let's go here. Let me take you back to when it happened. Let's do that. Give everyone a refresher of what happened back then.
A woman has died in hospital after running through a glass door in her eastern suburbs apartment, allegedly to escape a domestic violence incident. Police are investigating, but no charges have so far been laid. Natasha Squarey has the details.
Well, friends say Claire Austin was happy, fun and beautiful, but her relationship wasn't perfect. Police were called here often, with neighbours hearing frequent arguing coming from her Randwick home. The 38-year-old and her 44-year-old partner lived together in this unit block, and on Saturday morning residents called 000 after hearing screaming and shouting. When officers arrived, they found Claire badly injured with a severe cut to her arm. She was rushed to St Vincent's Hospital and then into surgery, while her boyfriend was taken for questioning.
My husband heard the shattered glass and I think a scream, and then he said it sounded really bad.
Claire's family made the emergency trip from the UK here to Sydney. They landed yesterday morning, just hours before she died. Her boyfriend was released without charge, but detectives are still investigating how Claire went through a glass sliding door.
There's a police investigation underway. That will be a thorough investigation.
Today, residents in this quiet street were understandably shaken up.
It's very unsettling, to know that it happened right next door to us.
Strikeforce Lindock has been launched and detectives are asking for anyone with information to come forward.
Well, now we know the answer. It was a very thorough investigation. It took about half a year for them to finally come to a decision to charge Lee Lachlan over the death of Claire Austin. Great news. I thought for a period of time that we would hear nothing about any charges for him, but now we have, he's in remand. He ain't getting out of jail anytime soon. The world is a slightly safer place now. Chipmunk said, wasn't that on the ground level? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they were on a different level, a higher one. But yeah, there we go. When this makes its way through the court system, I will bring you information that I can get from the courthouse, and I'll let you know. But it's a good update to a very sad ending to her life. I think all the stories we talk about have very sad endings, unfortunately. It seems it was those doors. It's brutal. They're so thick, and to run through them and actually shatter those type of what do they call it? Safety glass type glass. It's a lot of force. You have to be so in fear, and she was. But yeah, I mean, I've seen people run into them and smack into them at a pretty good pace before, and I've never seen them break it. So to actually somehow make your way through that door is beyond comprehension, really. I want to see that photo again. Hold on. I want to see if we've got that photo of the doors. Oh yeah, here. I mean, obviously it would have been replaced by now. They would have put a new door in. I guess that is sort of like a little sunroom, isn't it? That balcony. It looks like it has its own windows on the outside too. So yeah, if it is this particular door, wow. Her last few moments on this earth were full of dread, terror, and pain, and it's awful. That's what I want to know. If it is murder, are they saying she was murdered because she was in fear of her life, so tried to escape and went through the door? Or are they saying he deliberately pushed her through the door and that's how she died? I am very interested to know. Hold on, guys. Guys, give me 2 minutes. Hold on. Sorry, I was helping Mrs. Ping. The cats have taken over her couch, and they're both sleeping on it, and there's nowhere for her to sit down. Rachel said she didn't fall into that door. I think she was thrown into it. It will be a very difficult case to take to trial. Kim said, I hope they can prove it. Me too. I think it's a case where her family deserves answers to what happened to Claire, and someone needs to be held responsible. And we need to send a message to females, but also majority males, that this is not okay. It's not okay to do this to your partner. It is something the community needs to come out and be shown, set a deterrent through the court that we're not going to be okay with women being killed this way. It's not okay to coercive control, abuse, treat women like property and be like, oh, if no one can have you, then if I can't have you, no one can have you, that type of mentality. It's enough. Like, everyone's sick of it, sick of hearing about it, sick of seeing it in the media, just over it. And yet it seems to be so prevalent. We hear stories every week of women being killed by their either current partner, they might be an ex-partner. Really need to come out strong in the courts and be like, give them some sort of like 50 years, 80 years, 100 years, a life sentence. Not these soft sentences of like 15 years because she might have like retaliated to you one time and they use that as an excuse to give a lower sentence. She's the one who's not here anymore. She can't be here to defend herself in court. So the court must be her advocate if he's found guilty. The court must stand as her advocate and dish out that sentence, which tells everyone that, hey, we're not going to be okay with this happening. Kim said, I wish there were stronger laws in the US. I agree. Betsy said, maybe a pressure test on the glass. They might. Maybe they will do that for the court case. They may do that in their lab. Dasani, hey Danny. That's a lot of force. How big is the person allegedly claiming she went through it? Well, I think he's quite a big guy. Well, not big, but he's a male, so he's obviously bigger than her. I can show you a photo from when he was arrested on Friday to give you sort of a sense of how big he is. So he's a pretty tall, thin guy, and I would say he's probably 75 kilos, maybe 80, something like that. Maybe even a bit less, maybe 70 kilos, I think. And he looks pretty tall, maybe 6'1", 6'2", something like that. So that is him being arrested, Lee Lachlan, when he was taken into custody on Wednesday. So there's another photo of him here too. This is the face of a guy who thinks it's okay to abuse women to the point of her being terrified that she went through a plate glass window or some sort of glass door and her life ended because she cut the artery in her arm. So this is the face of him. He looks like any guy you would see down the road. He looks like every second guy in that age range. So it tells you this is not a boogeyman situation where it's the scary guy that you see out in public. It's the guy you don't expect. It's the guy you think is probably a pretty nice person, and they are the ones perpetrating these types of crimes in the community. So awful story, but I thought I'd bring you the update. He was now charged, and he'll spend his next little while in jail awaiting trial. So good news all around on that one. Let me see when his next court date is. When is he due back in court? Let me see. Let me see when he's next going back to court. Yeah, so the coercive control legislation that only came in about a year ago in July of 2024. Like I was telling you before, it's pretty new. It's a pretty new thing that you can be charged with in New South Wales. Great to see it actually happen in this type of case. It says Mr. Lachlan will appear in court later this month. So he's due back in court probably for a mention at some point in November. So that is great. Happy to hear that. Let me see if there's any other details. Yeah, I don't see anything I haven't read to you. Okay. New South Wales police said Claire was injured after attempting to force her way through a glass sliding door. So that definitely looks like it will be that door that we were talking about, the one that goes onto the sunroom here on the balcony. So they're saying police in their documents are saying she was attempting to force her way through a sliding door. Crazy to me. Yeah, they're saying that Mr. Lachlan engaged in abusive behavior against Miss Austin from about July 2024 until her death in April of this year. So he had been abusing her for a good long period of time, unfortunately. Okay. We're going to talk about the Madeleine McCann stalker. Give me 1 second. So there was a verdict reached in the woman who was Madeleine McCann, Julia Wandelt. She's been found guilty of harassing and stalking Madeleine McCann's parents and family, the two children as well. And we've had a lot of information released, so I want to bring it to you because when you hear it in person now, not just in details, me reading it or something like that, it is shocking. When you hear it, you will be a lot more stunned than I think you may have been beforehand. Hold on. There we go. Past 24 hours. Yep. All right. I'm going to take you to Sky News in the UK. If I can.
A woman who claimed to be Madeleine McCann, Polish national Julia Wandelt, who is 24, has been found guilty of harassing the parents of Madeleine McCann, Kate and Jerry McCann, but has been found not guilty of stalking them. We'll bring you a little bit more about that shortly. Meanwhile, our crime correspondent, Martin Brunt, has more on the background of this case.
In her campaign to prove she was Madeleine McCann, Julia Wandelt appeared on a TV chat show in America.
You think if you're not Madeleine McCann, that you might be some other missing child?
I believe that I am Madeleine McCann.
They even asked her during the trial, even after seeing the DNA evidence, do you still believe you are Madeleine McCann? And she's like 50-50. She said she was 50-50 on it. This is grotesque is the word that I come up to. But that was the update from the Sky News. I want to show you this. This is video footage of them approaching the McCann household. And you see both women, the two that were on trial, and you see them walk up to the property. I think it has a bit of audio too. Yeah, let's see. So you see them
I mean, all I'm going to say is what I said back in 2022. You were not Madeleine McCann, okay? I know that's hard to hear, and I know you've been told this by many people, but you have to remember we've worked on this investigation for since 2011. I've worked on this investigation.
I know.
Yeah.
But did you get results?
Yeah.
Can you give me a copy
Of what, sorry?
of the results?
Oh, we haven't sent the DNA. It's not being tested.
Why?
We can't spend public money on something like that when there's no.
Okay, but okay, I don't understand this because they told me. Okay, so why are you? Okay, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why are you saying without any testing that I am not Madeline when I clearly can remember some things because I got flashbacks?
Delusional is the word that just comes into my head when I hear all this. But to hear that audio and you hear her arguing with the this, I'm pretty sure this is a Grange inquiry. This is a detective from the Operation Grange, and she's arguing with them when they're like, we can't waste public money on DNA testing you because you're not Madeleine McCann. And she's all like, well, why can't you? Why? Oh, well, you don't know. It's just, this woman was told in no uncertain terms hundreds of times that she was not Madeleine McCann. Then during this trial, she actually said, I'm so over all this. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm so done with this process. She needs to understand, while she may be over it, while she may be tired, while she may be done with it, the only reason any of this is happening is because of her own actions. It is her own actions that there's even a trial in the first place. Like, there's no insight from this woman on her own offending. She just thinks everyone is wrong and that they're inconveniencing her. It is a story of a woman who won, and I don't care what she says. She said during the trial that this is not about fame and fortune. Well, I disagree heavily. I disagree, and I will to the end of my life. She got a taste of being famous when she went to the USA, was brought on to Dr. Phil, and after that, when the DNA test pretty much basically said she wasn't Madeleine McCann, all that sort of fame and fortune started slipping from her hands, and she had to think of more ways to continue that fame. And that's how she was going to do it, by harassing Jerry and Kate in England and try and get that fame back. And if you ask me, I really believe that's part of it. I think she's a mentally ill woman as well, but I also think part of her is driven by fame and fortune, that she wanted to be this famous person. Well, she is sort of now, but not in what she wanted. She'll always be known as a stalker. She'll be known as a imposter, someone who claimed to be Madeleine McCann, wasn't, proven by DNA, and this court case will be the everlasting reminder. Part of me thinks that the UK government wanted to make a bit of an example out of this to just once and for all show everyone that there's not even a twinkling of hope at the end of the channel, or the end of the channel, end of the tunnel, that she is Madeleine McCann. She is not. And everyone should just stop giving her oxygen. Stop doing it. Stop giving her like any claims of hers. It's rubbish. Let me see. I want to show you. They had this photo, and I want to show it to you. These are some of the things that she was putting on social media to say that she was Madeleine McCann. And I want to show you how delusional it is. Here's one. She's like, oh my God, imaginary things on my face are the same as Madeleine McCann. Can't you see how like they are to my things? They're not even similar. We all have marks on our faces. This is not even close. It is almost funny. It's almost funny because of how ludicrous her claims are. And then she had this one where she says, "Look, don't I look like Kate? Don't I look like Kate? Can't I be her daughter? Look, I could be Kate's daughter." You don't even look anything alike. Your bone structures in your faces are completely different. During this trial, we also found out that she'd been using things like AI and other photoshopping programs to manipulate these photos to make her look more like Kate. I wouldn't be surprised if this particular photo has been molded to sort of change her facial appearance just enough so it looks sorta like Kate. But it was brought up at the trial that she'd been using this type of software to manipulate photos and put things where they shouldn't be, and these are some of the comparisons that she put on social media to claim that she was Madeleine McCann. And here's another one, and she said, look, Jerry's my dad. Jerry's my dad. Look at this. Again, I would assume this photo has been photoshopped to change the nose. Her nose does not look like that. We've all seen photos of Julia Wandel. Her nose does not look like this. This looks like it's been modified and photoshopped. Let's see what else we can find. Oh, and this one too. Another one from social media. Can't you see the just absolute invisible likeness? How are you guys not believing that I'm Madeleine McCann? Look at these circles. Look, I know my circle is green and hers is blue, but we both have colorful circles on our faces. That must mean that I'm Madeleine McCann. Look at it. It's undeniable proof. What is she even pointing out here? Like, you have a low resolution photo of Madeleine McCann that was taken almost 20 years ago now on cameras and stuff that are just, they don't even compare to the cameras that we have today in our phones. And she's trying to pick out microscopic imperfections and things like that to say that she is Madeleine McCann. It's just fanciful. Where are her parents? In Poland. In Poland. They have put out some statements to the public saying that they are embarrassed and they have tried to help Julia over the years, but they know that she's mentally unwell. Yeah, like, look at this. This is her normal nose, right? Where's that photo? Here's a photo where it's obviously been photoshopped. Obviously been photoshopped to try and make herself look like Jerry. It's crazy. It really is. You know, did she think that people online were not going to pick up the differences? Like, what did she do? Have rhinoplasty and then have it reversed? Or what would she claim? How is that her nose is completely different again? It's bizarre. Yes, they are acknowledging her foolishness. That is correct. So I'm glad that she's now been found guilty. Unfortunately, the maximum time for this is only 6 months in jail. She's already been in custody for longer than that. So most likely, she's probably going to be deported and sent back to Poland. So she's probably not going to spend too much longer in custody. They're probably going to deport her and possibly put a block on her coming back to the UK. So yeah, just to the people who gave her oxygen for all these years, you are part of the problem. You are part of the problem for real. And some of the reason, not all of it, but some of the reason that she is sitting in a courtroom right now is because of those people. Because of the people who made Reddits, who made forums and hopped on Instagram and blew smoke up this girl's ass for 3 years. You are part of the issue. Because I don't know whether they did it because they thought it was funny or whether they truly just have such a conspiracy mindset that they were like, she's definitely Madeleine McCann and we're all being lied to. Well, no, you were dealing with someone who's mentally ill and then you were encouraging them to continue in their offending, their delusions, and you didn't make it any better. You actually made it a lot worse. And those people today, while she was convicted, part of her conviction belongs to those people as well. It really does. And, they should feel horrible. They really should. After hearing what the McCanns went through, no matter what you think of the McCanns, if you think they killed Madeleine, great. If you think that they're innocent, great. Doesn't matter. It's a completely different subject that we're talking about. This is about, just imagine that they got nothing to do with Madeleine McCann. This is a woman who is completely deranged, who stalked them, rang them over like 160 times in one day, sent them messages, turned up to their home, called Kate mummy, sent them letters and talking about flashbacks and how I remember you patting my head. I remember you like singing me songs as a little girl. And imagine they're not the McCanns and they're just some other family in the UK. That's what they went through, and you would feel bad for them. And I do. I feel like they must have been going through absolute hell trying to deal with this woman and her friend who were on some sort of at least a misguided quest to find nothing. At worst, and as we learned today, it's a criminal offense. So, uh, no, I mean that's always been the thing, right? Is Madeleine McCann has that eye condition. This woman, uh, she doesn't, and it's not in the right eye. Even if she does have a little bit of it, it's not in the correct eye. So she does not have it. Kelly J said she also wasn't the right age. Right, she's not even in the right age range. So she's pretended she's been a bunch of missing girls, not just Madeleine. You love Poland? Well, we can all love Poland, just not this one. But yeah, just her delusions are how no one picked up on this. This is such a poorly photoshopped image. Like here, I'll zoom in on it. It looks like she has layered two noses together. Like, can you see this? There's one nose underneath, which I believe is her nose, and she's asked AI, I think, to make it look like his nose. There's a second nose on top. So this, she's got two noses, this woman. She's got a double sniffer. She's got two sniffers. Yeah, it's crazy. Rachel said there needs to be a permanent no contact order. I believe that is the case, that she is not allowed to contact the family, not allowed to come anywhere near them. I think she'll be banned from entering the UK as well. She makes me so frustrated because I lived through watching people like give her air and oxygen online by, you are Madeleine, we're going to help you. We're going to take you to the USA and get you on Dr. Phil. And I watched all of it play out in real time. And it was so frustrating, so frustrating. to see it happen when I knew 3 years ago that she was not Madeleine McCann. Anyone with half a brain cell knew she was not Madeleine McCann. So, frustrates me. It's very frustrating. Yeah, let me see. Hold on. Yeah, I want to. This is the bit where she confronts the McCanns at their property. Let's listen to it.
I need help. You are not Madeleine. How do you know you're DNA? How do you know you're DNA? He's not We don't want this. Please do not afterwards. And please leave the premises. Listen, I don't know what your investment is. Listen. No, don't listen. We're not having a discussion about it. It's not going to do with anything. No, the police are well aware about Julia and her situation.
But it's not lying.
How are you going to find that? We're not having a discussion. Please leave, or we will be. No,
I am Muslim. You can just rule me out. Rule me out. Please take it.
Hello, who's speaking?
Hello, I'm Julia. Can we talk, please? I don't want to disturb you. I just need to talk with you.
You must have the wrong number.
No, I know your voice, Jerry.
There you go. You can hear how frantic she is in that. I know it was a little fuzzy and a little like distorted, but you can just hear how frantic she is talking to the McCanns and trying to get them to believe her. And they just don't. They're like, "You're not our daughter." And for her to scream out at them, "I am Madeleine. I am Madeleine." It must be like a knife through their hearts to hear someone claiming this when for 20 years that's all they've ever wanted. That's all they've ever wanted is for their daughter to come home and walk up on their doorstep and be like, "Mom and Dad, I'm home. Here, I'm Madeleine." And instead, you have this very sick, mentally ill, deranged woman rock up on your doorstep with her lackey friend and start arguing with you about whether you believe she is Madeleine McCann. I mean, the fact that she did this once, left the UK, planned to come back, came back, what did she think was going to happen? I wonder if she was surprised when she was found at the airport and arrested. Like, she must have known the family had had enough, really. She must have known that they were at their wits' ends with her. And I think it changed when she started flying to the UK. When she was just calling and being in Poland or whatever, I think there was not a ton the UK government could do. But when she came over and traveled and then started rocking up at their home, I think that is when it sort of really reached that top level. I really do. I think they were like, she could be dangerous. What if she hurts someone? What if she doesn't get the answer that she wants and pulls out a gun, a knife, takes the family hostage? All those things are reasonable after you see her behavior. So it's crazy. Really, really crazy. And then we've heard more of the audio now. Now that her trial is complete. Yeah, like they asked Kate and Jerry things like, "Don't you want to find your daughter?" What? Why is she standing right in front of them? I don't think she is. It's just, it's awful. I'm glad we now have a guilty verdict. I don't know what the life of Julia Wandelt is going to be in the future, but I hope she stays away from the UK and stays away from the McCann family. It's helping no one. We all want to know what happened to Madeleine McCann. This is not helping that at all. It's not doing anything. It's not helping to find her. It's not giving us any answers. Nothing. So Let me see. I think she's going to be sentenced at a later time. I can't remember. I know at one point they said she was going to be sentenced at a later date, but I think the judge also said that basically she'd be sentenced to time served, so that she's probably going to get out of jail. Let's see. Convicted. Yeah, woman convicted in the UK of harassing Maddie McCann's parents, but acquitted for stalking. I personally believe she should have been done for stalking too. Let me see if I can find here. I just want to see when she's due back. Julia, however, told jurors that she never meant to cause any harm to the McCanns and simply wanted to find out if she might be their missing daughter. I don't think so. I think her behavior gave a very different message. I don't think that's a woman who's determined to find out if she's their daughter at all. One of the interesting things that did come out of this trial, there was a piece of information that I'd always wondered about. She had sent some DNA to a DNA expert, right? And she posted it online after manipulating what this person had told her. And she's like, look, the DNA test came back. I am Madeline McCann. Well, we found out that she falsified those DNA samples and then sent them in so they would look like matches, right? That person that did the DNA testing told her he would need more evidence of who these people are, what family tree they belong to, more definitive proof before they would go on the record and verify the results for her. And instead of doing that, she falsified the documents and results and things like that, and then put them online, basically saying, "Look, an international DNA expert has proven that I'm Madeline McCann." And so, not the first time she has tried to deceive everyone. Yeah, of course, she's not a UK resident, so I definitely knew she'd be deported. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, let's go to. Okay.
For nearly 20 years, the parents of Madeleine McCann have suffered unimaginable torment. But for the last 3, they've had to endure an additional cruelty.
I want to know who I am, and I want to know if I am Madeleine McCann.
This is Julia Van Delt promoting her false claims on American television.
When did you first think you might be Madeleine McCann?
It was on June 2022. This was the first time when I started to think that maybe I'm missing child.
But she was also relentlessly hounding the McCann family.
This is Julia. She have here 3, maybe 4 years.
But before all that, she'd contacted a Polish missing persons charity run by Iwona Modley-Borska.
It's 100%. She is no Madeleine.
And you told her this?
Yes.
And she didn't listen?
No.
Madeleine was the 3rd missing child Julia had claimed to be.
She had all the answers well prepared and she was very determined. It was impossible to persuade her.
Do you think she genuinely believed she was Madeleine?
She was looking for fame. She thought that this will bring her fame. This was her objective. I don't think she believed she was Madeleine.
She was clearly a troubled young.
See, just the lady who actually dealt with Julia said the same thing that I said. No matter what Julia says in court, this lady has the same opinion that I do, that it was all about fame. It's not about her being Madeleine McCann. The only reason she stuck with the Madeleine McCann thing is because it worked, because it got everyone's attention, because it gave her some clout, because it got her on US TV shows with Dr. Phil and had media calling her 24 hours a day, got her money from people and things like that. I will forever think that this was just a ploy to become someone famous. But it's very hard to turn your life of delusion and deception and flip that into becoming someone who could do this for a long period of time. She was always going to crash and burn on her claims of being Madeleine McCann because it's easily provable. We have the technology these days. It doesn't cost a ton of money, and it was easily to disprove her very quickly. So how would she flip that and then continue to be famous and in that echelon of like getting money and TV shows and interviews? Well, I think in her mind, she's like, I have to go to the UK and be on their side and talk to the McCanns, and it ended up where we saw today. It ended up in a courtroom, which is the only place this was ever going to end up for Julia. Hey, by the way, Sean, I appreciate it. Sean sent in a donation to the Ko-Fi link. It's very, very kind of you. I appreciate it. Danny said, so deranged. What is wrong with humankind? I don't know. But you hear in this video, this is the third child she has claimed to be. Third. The other two didn't work. No one took it seriously. No one bought into it. So she moved on. And then she was like, you know what? I'm going to claim to be the world's most famous missing child, Madeleine McCann. And then when she did that, kaboom. I remember the day where people started finding that that social media account, I am Madeleine McCann. And I remember when it started spreading across social media and forums and Reddit, and it just took on a life of its own very quickly. Within about a week, it went berserk, and we are where we are today, unfortunately. Yeah, she lied about everything the whole time. Everything. I don't think there's anything she said that is true. They even spoke with her boyfriend. Apparently, she had a boyfriend at one point and they lived together. He told her in like thousands of times that she was not Madeleine McCann, and she didn't want to believe it. So she just left and left their property that they shared together. Eventually, she kept coming back to him because she had nowhere to go. But he said that he basically had to cut ties with her because it was damaging him. It was damaging his mental health, and he couldn't have her around because that's all she would ever say is, I'm Madeleine. I'm going to show the world that I'm Madeleine McCann. And he couldn't take it. He's just like, this is now affecting me negatively. It's affecting my work, my life, my health. And he just goes, I have to get away from this woman. But it shows you it's not like she wasn't told. Same as Anastasia. Yeah, yes, exactly. So it's not like this woman wasn't told a million times over. She thought she'd get the fame and notoriety. Well, she got the notoriety. I don't think she's going to have the fame any longer. Kelly said she's obsessing over it and got mad at everyone who said she wasn't Madeleine. Yep. Sean says he didn't know who he was sleeping with. Yeah, apparently Madeleine McCann. Apparently a famous missing child.
Woman.
But I have my own right to find out who I am and to meet my biological parents.
She'd been abused as a child and claimed she may have been abducted. But despite being told she wasn't their daughter, she began bombarding Madeleine's parents, Kate and Jerry McCann, with calls and voicemails, as many as 60 in one day. Madeleine's sister, Amelie, told the court Julia claimed to have childhood memories with her and sent her doctored pictures to prove a resemblance. After turning up at the annual vigil for Madeleine in their home village in Leicestershire and speaking to a relative, a Metropolitan Police officer called her.
All I'm going to say is what I said back in 2022. you are not Madeleine McCann, okay? If you do go to Leicester again, there's offences called harassment here. If you cause any harassment, you could be arrested, okay?
I will never give up. This is something that I want to tell you.
I know you won't.
Instead, she accepted help from one of her online support.
When you listen to that cop, he knows that she's crackers, because he's like, oh, I know you won't. He knows what he's dealing with already and how deluded that she is. But she was warned. You come back, you start harassing the family, contacting their friends. You come back to the UK again and try this, we will arrest you. And that is exactly what happened. So for her to claim in court that she is tired of all this and over it, you had your chance to walk away. They gave you a chance to leave the UK and not come back and stop talking to the family. And she just couldn't help herself. Just couldn't help herself. So they planned another trip with this deluded old bat too, and tried to come back to the UK. And they were arrested at the airport. So
Reporters, Karen Spragg, seen here arriving at court. She was cleared despite accompanying Julia back to Leicestershire, paying for them to check into a hotel before going to the McCann's family home. After waiting at the end of the street, this is Julia running to confront Kate McCann, who'd just arrived home, with Karen following shortly afterwards. Kate McCann recalled being frightened as she was approached from behind on her own driveway in the dark. Julia pleading with her to take a DNA test. Karen asking her aggressively, "Don't you want to find your daughter?" After also confronting Jerry McCann and being asked to leave, they returned later with a note addressed to Mum and signed Madeleine. Ivona says Julia must have known the distress it would cause.
She didn't care, because every normal person is aware that there's a family who for years have been struggling, who've been searching for their child, who suffer and live a nightmare.
she's right. This lady's very clever. She gets it. It's cruel. It's really cruel to be saying things like, "Mummy," and "Mummy, read my note," and "How come you don't remember me, Mummy?" And "I remember when you used to touch my hair and sing me little songs when I was a little girl, and I remember when we used to do X, Y, and Z." It's torture. It's torture to the McCanns to do that to them. It's so cruel. Um, like I said, no matter what you think of the McCanns, if they're involved in their daughter's disappearance or not, if this was any other family this was happening to, and they had like a dead or missing child, everyone would be up in arms about it. Like, it is so cruel to do that to a family who are missing their child and don't know what happened to them. It's possibly one of the cruelest things you could do to someone. And it must have hurt like crazy for Kate McCann. Even Kate said at the trial she had moments where she wanted to give in to Julia and do these tests with her, because she felt bad by denying her because of the emotional sort of blackmail that Julia was playing with them. So it's awful. Sean said, "I'd like to hear from her last teacher." Kim says, "I just can't with her." I know, right? It's very frustrating. All right. I've told you what happened. She's been found guilty. She'll be deported from the UK. And I hope we never have to hear from this woman ever again. Everything's in the public domain now. We had a month-long trial. I hope we're done with it. Hey, Robin, how are you? Oh, yes, your message from before. I know there was something about a hypnotist trying to recover memories from Julia. So I think she has been to some sort of memory recovery type place. So I think you're right. Yeah, I definitely think you're right about that. Gayla said, I wonder if she'll come to Scotland. I hope not. Hope she goes back to Poland and is barred from ever entering the UK ever again. All right. I know you talked about Melodee with Trish, but we have viewers who are not the same, so we have to go over it. Now, Melodee's mum, that's Ashley, was arrested today, and they're saying it is not related to the disappearance of her daughter. She's been arrested on a felony charge of false imprisonment. They said it's not directly related to the search for her daughter. Ping thinks it's a holding charge where basically they're just trying to keep her in custody until they can charge her with a higher offense. Now, will that come out and be true? I don't know, but that's just my sort of feeling from what's going on, is that they are trying to get the evidence together to charge her with something to do with her daughter's disappearance. So, all right. There's also this that came out. We've all seen the screen grabs from it, but this is sort of a stitched together video from photos, and you can tell because it's a little jumpy, but I'll play it for you. So this is you can make videos from photographs, sort of like when you used to flick that book of a stick figure, and it would like do things. So you can do it with photos too. So it's just a few photographs that have been stitched together, and you can see some of the movements of Ashley and Melodee, because we've seen the other ones. There we go. We've seen the screen grabs, but not the video. So yeah, like a flip book, but you can do it with photos too. So you can tell it's so jumpy, and it's obviously from a security camera, but it's like just portions of it. So what she's doing here, I don't know, but she definitely looks like to be avoiding that camera. She's got like tries to have her back turned to it, and you can see little Melodee has her back turned to the camera too for most of the time. The thing that gets me, she's so little for 9. Like when you see her against her mother, she's so tiny for 9 years old. I wouldn't be surprised if they tell us that she was malnourished because she's so little. I think a 9-year-old girl should be a little bigger than that. Now, that's not to say there's some small children that are naturally small, but we've seen other photos of Melodee where she looks more average weight and things like that. She's very, very thin in this photo. It's very, very disturbing. So, and there was some claims. I've seen claims that say that Ashley wasn't feeding her properly and wasn't giving her good nutrition and things like that. So that may be why she's so thin. Kelly said, "Such a cheap and bad wig. It stands out. You would think she wouldn't want to be noticed." When she was arrested today, I think Trish showed you the video. She was wearing the same wig, and if I can get it up on the screen here, I will show it to you where she is being arrested. Where is it? And you'll see she's wearing the exact same wig in that video for people who have not seen it already. Yep, here. Just let me pause that music. There you go. You can see her being arrested. It's a very tiny video. It's shot from far away, but you can see her being arrested, and she's wearing that same wig, I think. Her hair's very same sort of style. But there you go, being arrested out the front of her property. Now she's trying to hide her face a little bit from people. Looks like the cops were going to break down that door. See the cop in the last footage? Looks like he's got a crowbar or a pry bar with him. Yeah, I'll just play it for you again so you can see her being arrested. Good news. Sean said 30 photos a second is real time, but you can record at 6 per second to get the same effect. There you go. Marlene said the child is not with good people. They would have called police by now and got her help. I agree. Anyone who's harboring that child, if that is what is going on, they deserve to be charged as well. Okay. There we go. So we are slowly etching along the path to finding out what happened to Melodee. Now, Ping thinks she's alive. Now, I don't know if that's true. I could be completely wrong, but I just think she's alive and being hidden somewhere. Although there is something that is a little disturbing to me. When they raided her property, they cut out carpet in the floor and took pieces of drywall as well. And normally, if they're doing that, there's either blood that they can see or tested with luminol, and they want to take it as evidence. And that is what worries me, is that they took those type of things from the home. Kelly said Celeste Rivas, although no big update. I think the LAPD finally made a statement about her. I think the statement was basically the information that they had provided a couple of months ago is still valid today. And that information is that they don't know if there's any other crime other than disposal of the body. So they don't know if there's a murder charge or someone committed that type of crime. They only know that someone should be in trouble for disposing of her body. Gail said that's not good. No, it's not. Yeah, I'm not trying to get anyone into a bad frame of mind. It's just what I read when they raided the property, and they normally don't do that for no reason. So I personally think she's alive, and we saw her on the video when she left California. So she was alive at that point. So I don't know why they took those particular items from the home. I'm not sure. But that was something that they took from the properties. All right, there you go. There you go. See? We all can see Melodee with her mum, at least when they went on the road trip. I don't know why they took that stuff from the home. Maybe we'll find out at some point, but they did. And there's another view of them at that same rental car place. There you go. I don't know. Do you guys think that Ashley is wearing a lot of makeup in this photo? Because when you see her in the other video, the one I showed you when she was being arrested, she doesn't seem to be wearing as such heavy makeup. In this one, she seems to be wearing very heavy lip gloss and eyeshadow. But in the other one outside of her home, she looks a lot more like plain, like not as dolled up as what she sort of looks like in this photo. Just a observation that I saw. Danny said, who would Melodee be with though? So bizarre. A friend, an acquaintance, someone online that she was speaking to. Could be anyone. Could be anyone. Someone who thinks someone with an anti-authority type disorder, someone who hates the police, hates CPS, that type of thing. Could be someone that's willing to harbor the child for Ashley. Could be something like that. Yeah, that's sort of what I think too, but I hope I'm right, because that means the child is alive and not dead. All right, let me get you a better update. Nope, that's not what I want. Ah, that's not what I want. Yes, this is what I want. All right, here we go.
Mother of missing Melodee Buzzard is behind bars. She's arrested roughly a month after the little girl from the Central Coast just vanished. Her mysterious disappearance now being followed by people all across the country. But as CBS LA's Hunter Sowers shows us, the charge is not directly related to her daughter's disappearance, right?
Pat, just another twist in this strange case here. She is being charged, though, with felony false imprisonment. The Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office saying that Ashley, Melodee's mom, held a victim against their will, but will not tell us anything else about who, when, or where it may have happened. And while we still don't know where Melodee is tonight, her family has hope they will finally get some answers.
The frantic search for 9-year-old Melodee intensifies as her mother is handcuffed outside of her home Friday morning on an unrelated charge of felony false imprisonment for holding a victim against their will.
When I saw that, I immediately just started crying.
Melodee's father died in a car crash when she was just 6 months old. It's not stopped his family from helping search for the little girl.
For me, any type of arrest means that she did something bad, because they're not going to arrest her for nothing.
Ashley Buzzard's arrest comes exactly 1 month after she was seen in this security footage alongside her daughter, renting a car before authorities say they traveled 1,500 miles, at one point switching out the license plates and wearing wigs and hoods to avoid detection.
Went as far out as Nebraska, down into Kansas before returning to Lompoc without Melodee.
The community seen putting up signs outside of Ashley's home.
Just maybe this most recent arrest can get some leverage over her, and she starts disclosing where Melodee is.
I kind of worry though. The people outside the home, I think, are good intentioned, and I'm very thankful that there's people in the community that are willing to do that and speak up for a child when they need the help from the community. I think they're the loveliest people in the world. I also think that it could actually be a double-edged sword in this particular case, because I worry that the pressure surrounding the home and surrounding Ashley made things worse rather than better. I think maybe her mental health is not very good, and by pressurizing her in that particular way, I think may have been actually a negative rather than a positive. Just something tells me that it may have done the reverse of what people wanted it to do. And I don't mean that to be nasty towards any of the people out the front or the people who made signs or whatever. Like I said, I think they're very nice people who took time out of their world to try and speak up for a child who is missing. So I actually think it's very nice to have community members who do that type of thing, and they should feel very proud of themselves. But I still think that maybe it had the opposite effect of what they actually wanted. Danny said, but she has not said look. Okay. Sure. Kelly said, I really wish they had a current picture to put out of her. It's crazy they can't find one, and Mum's obviously not giving them one. I know, I agree. By the way, I try very hard to fill in the gaps on people's typing. I know one time we sort of had a joke with someone and they took it very wrong, and they've never come back to the channel or the chat, which I wish people would know we're just joking. We all have spelling mistakes. We all spell things incorrectly in live chats. Even I do. And sometimes I just like to make a joke out of it. But it's a shame that person never came back. It was one of our longtime daily regular people. I think they were so offended by the joke I made, they just never came back. All right.
Federal prosecutor Nima Romani calls her arrest an important next step, especially since Ashley has not been helping authorities find her daughter.
And you see parents, or in this case, a mother, that isn't acting like one typically would when their child is missing and not accounted for. That raises all sorts of red flags.
Investigators calling the case unusual.
This one definitely does stand out. This is a standout case for us.
As Melodee's family hopes Ashley will have the answers they need to bring her home safely.
You try to stay positive, but then you also have to mentally prepare yourself.
So authorities say they cannot give any further details about the false imprisonment charge, saying they have to protect the ongoing investigation, but wouldn't specify what investigation exactly they were talking about. Ashley is being held on a $100,000 bond.
Yep, there you have it, a $100,000 bond. I don't think she's, for a woman who has over $20,000 of credit card debt that is currently before the court, I don't think she's going to be raising $100,000 anytime soon. Kim said some people are sensitive, maybe too much. It's a shame because the person was a nice person, so I hope they come back. Hey, my friend, how are you? Strange story? It is a bit strange. Hey, Mary, how are you? What crap? Yeah, what crap? Yeah, lots of craps. 100 grand. I just don't think she's gonna get out of jail anytime soon. I mean, I wouldn't be able to get out of jail either. I don't have 100 grand. Kelly said, pretty convenient timing for this false imprisonment charge, but I'm happy they got it. Sounds like a holding charge to me. It sounds like they just don't want her on the street. They want her somewhere they can keep an eye on her for a while. So hopefully they will get the information that they need. Some people ask me, do you know when we might get more information? I think now that she's in custody, it may start unraveling pretty quickly because they've probably got her phone now. Or I'm not sure if they took it during the search warrant, but they may have another mobile device of hers now. Maybe it has more information. Maybe this whole thing starts unraveling a little quicker. But it's been going on a long time. If you think about it now, this weekend being the 11th, is this the weekend of 11th? Yeah, no, but on Tuesday, it'll be the 11th. It's been about a month since that little girl went missing. It's a long time for a little girl to be out there, with whoever. It's a long time, a month. Are they sure that was her daughter with her on that video? I mean, why would they say that if it wasn't? If they couldn't prove it, I don't think they would put the video out, right? They wouldn't say that. At least I don't think they would. I mean, do you think it might be a body double? Do you think she might have found another child from somewhere? I don't think so. I think they got a pretty good idea. It's her. Carolina said to me she would have been arrested when she wouldn't tell them where she was. True. Marlene said if she was having a mental health crisis, I hope she gets the help in jail. I just hope we find the kid. I don't really care what happens to her as much. I just want to know if the kid is okay and if she's alive. That's all I care about. Yeah, well, I said the same thing like 2 weeks ago when they gave her that ultimatum of like 72 hours or whatever. She should have been in custody after that. I don't know why it waited so long to do that, but there could be reasons, investigative reasons. Maybe they wanted to see if she would try go certain places. I don't know, but it's a possibility. All right. That's the only update, really. That's the only update. People keep asking me about the girl that we were talking about earlier this week, Joanna Brown. I've got nothing on it. I can't find anything. There's no update. I check every day, several times a day, and there's just no updates about what happened to this woman. Here, I'll show you. So if you don't know who I'm talking about, it's this lady here. Her name is Joanna Brown. She was found dead in her own vehicle. It was a rental car, a SUV, and they found her deceased in it after she said she had to call out from work. At 9 a.m. in the morning, she was at her place of employment, which is a bakery slash coffee shop. Someone contacted her. She told her boss that she had to leave the workplace urgently, but that she would be there the next day. She was found dead in her SUV a couple of days later in a parking lot. But there's no update at all. There's no update on if this is a murder investigation. There's no update on if this is a self type of injury done to her. She did it herself. Nothing like that. The only thing we have is that the investigation into her death is ongoing. That's it. And it says here, the Detective Bureau are continuing to investigate Brown's death, and there is no danger to the public. That's it. No danger to the public, but the investigation continues. So, who's messaging me? Okay. All right. 30 years old. Yeah, Joanna Brown was 30 years old. That's all we know, really. It's going to be today's Friday. So today was a week. So today was 1 week since she called out of work and disappeared. Didn't show up for the shift the next day, and we don't know what she did after she left that workplace. Have no idea. But the scene when they found her body was pretty dramatic. Here, I'll play the video for you.
7 News now to Worcester. Investigators making a big discovery in the search for 30-year-old Joanna Brown. She has not been seen since late last week, and people close to her are expressing their fears. Last night, a car matching the description of the one she drove became a big clue. It was surrounded by crime scene tape and towed away from the scene. It's the latest development in the desperate search.
And we're now waiting for answers from police about what they found. 7's Madi Salazar live in Worcester with the latest this morning. Madi?
Juliana, Olivia, good morning. And police say they have custody of that car and they're still investigating. A major development in the search for a missing woman in Worcester.
Have someone bring crime scene tape down here, please.
Sky 7 flying over the parking lot of the Green Hill Towers apartment complex on Mount Vernon Street in Worcester Monday afternoon. A white tent was seen covering the back of a car. Worcester police confirmed that car is the same make, model, and color as the one used by 30-year-old Joanna Brown, who was reported missing over the weekend. Brown was last seen around 9 o'clock Friday morning at her job at Bean Counter Cafe, but she has not been heard from since. The bakery says she didn't show up for her shift on Saturday, which they say she's never done in the 8 years that she's worked there. The bakery says she's a valuable member of their team, posting on Facebook Monday morning saying, "We miss her terribly." By that afternoon, investigators found this car. The medical examiner was also called to the scene.
Do you want me to wait on the tow or start them now? You know what? You can back off the tow for now.
While the car was being towed away, the license plate was visible. It matches the one police listed for Brown. If you have any information about the case, call police. We're live from Worcester. Madi Salazar, 7 News, Today New England.
7 News now to
And that's basically it. We know the car was picked up. We know her body was in the vehicle. But that's it. That's all we know. There's a lot of people sort of speculating online about what happened to her, but I haven't seen anything official. Nothing that we could say, okay, that's something real, something you can actually report on. A lot of it is innuendo and local rumors. Nothing that you could be certain about. There's rumors about a boyfriend. There's rumors about her knowing people at that apartment complex, but it's very hard to actually say these things when you can't back them up with any information. There's no one that said this publicly. There's no one who's actually been able to verify any of it. Right now, a lot of questions, not a lot of answers at all, and it is very, very frustrating. So hold on. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any update in another source of information for you. Hmm. Sorry, there was someone who posted something very strange. Apparently, someone who lives at the Green Hill apartment complex where they found the car, they said that they saw a woman in the vehicle sleeping. Now, I don't know if she was sleeping because it sounds like she's not with us anymore, right? They found a body. So I don't know what they mean by sleeping, but this person came forward and said that they saw her in the vehicle sleeping. I don't. It sounds to me like she probably wasn't having a nap in her car. I don't think she would drive out to some random apartment complex where she has no connection to it and take a random nap. So right now, just no new information. Don't know if we're looking at a homicide investigation. Don't know if we're looking at a very sad death of someone who did it to themselves. Right now, a week has passed, and we're still no closer to finding out what happened to Joanna Brown, unfortunately. So as soon as I have more information on her, I will bring it to you. But no updates right now. No updates. By the way, someone messaged me saying that this person was saying that what I was saying about the people out the front was crap. It was just an opinion. If you didn't like it, that's okay. Someone just DM'd me saying that person that was saying the thing about crap was having a go at your comment about the people outside of Ashley's home. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. Danny says it's not yet Sunday. Well, it's Saturday for some of you. Saturday for some people, yeah. You're a day off a lot. Do you pay your bills early then if that happens? All right. This person here apparently, someone DM'd me saying that what that message meant was they didn't like what I was saying about the community members outside of Ashley's home when I said it was maybe a negative, not a positive. Even though it is a very positive thing, but I meant like mentally. But apparently they didn't like the comment. Or at least that's what the person who just DM'd me said. Someone just messaged me saying that's what that person meant, but I don't know. I guess. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I don't mind. It's Saturday. It's Saturday there, yeah, for you guys. Danny says yes. Pay bills early. Always pay your rent early. Always, got to pay your rent early. All right. Hey, Carla, thank you very much for the donation. It's very kind of you. Same with Sean. I also want to thank a couple other people from the other day. I want to thank my friend Kathy Lynch. Kathy Lynch from the show the other day. She sent in a donation. I want to thank my friend Deborah. Deborah, thank you so much. So kind of you, a longtime supporter of Nights with Ping. It's very kind of you. And my friend who doesn't want to be named. Thank you very much to you as well. And to Sean for the one today. It's very kind of you as well for supporting the channel. Kelly said, I agree, Ping. It can be a negative and a positive, like you said. Yeah, that's just where my thinking goes on it. Gayla said, we're all able to have our opinion here. That's right. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Hold on. Oh, right. Sorry. I realized why that, because I was like, huh. I was like, okay, that didn't make sense. It makes sense now. I will correct that in the future to that person, because that person's going to email me after the show and say, you did something wrong, but I caught it. I know what it is now. To that person who I don't want to name right now, I caught it. It's okay. I won't do it again. Rachel said, thanks for the updates tonight. You are welcome. You are welcome. Yes, thank you. Thank you to you guys. I wish I had something more exciting, but we sort of went through all the exciting breaking news a couple of days ago, where we broke the news on Aaron Patterson's appeal grounds, which we were the first place online to have it into the public. We were the first people that got it out into the public domain. So you were the first to hear about it on this channel, which was pretty cool. That was, it's always nice to be able to break national news on the channel. Rachel said, thanks for all the updates tonight. You are welcome. I'm going to get you guys out of here. It's pretty late. It's almost 6 p.m. local time in Melbourne. It's a very drizzly day today in Melbourne. It's raining. It's been overcast all day. It's a pretty dismal type day down here today. What is going on? Oh, if you are if you are in Australia, sounds like we're having the problems like America with their food. If you are in Australia and you shop at Woolworths, Coles, or IGA, and you buy Aussie sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, they have been linked to 44 cases of salmonella infection. So if you buy alfalfa sprouts regularly and you haven't been feeling very well, it might be the alfalfa. Apparently, this particular brand has been giving people salmonella poisoning. How awful. I know in America you guys had one recently with like pasta. So like, you know, you can buy those microwave meals type things where you get like sauce and pasta and you heat it up in the microwave. I heard there was like thousands of people in the USA who were poisoned by pasta. So it does happen down here. It happens down here not very often in Australia. It's pretty rare that a whole bunch of people get ill from pre-made food. But I know in America it's pretty common. Hold on. Yeah, so the one in America is a multi-state outbreak of listeria. So there's a lot of people that got listeria from prepared. Speak properly, Ping. Prepared pasta meals. So it's like pre-prepared. So they are the ones you put in the microwave and nuke it. Apparently, 6 people died. 25 people have been in hospital. Oh no! And one lady lost her baby. Apparently, a lady lost her child like in pregnancy from eating the pasta. So take it very seriously, and yeah, take it very seriously. Don't take these sort of warnings and be like, I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Be very careful. Be very careful. Yeah, apparently the lady lost her baby. That's awful. I mean, so is the 6 people who died too. 6 people died from eating pre-cooked pasta, and it came from a company called Nate's Fine Foods. But where's the lady who lost her baby? Hold on. I'm trying to find the one about the baby and where that was, what state it came from. Oh, yeah, the CDC said one pregnancy associated illness resulted in fetal loss. So someone lost their baby, unfortunately. How awful. All from eating pasta. All from eating a prepackaged pasta meal. How sad for them. Kelly said it's hard to wash sprouts when you get them, but you should grow them if you can. It's pretty easy. Yeah, it's horrible, right? Gail said 3 tomato sauce for pasta. I know the brand, but it should say it on Google. In the UK, hold on. Yeah, in the UK, tomato sauce recalled due to potentially fatal listeria outbreak. So they've also had one in the UK for pasta. Oh no, these ones were America. This one was manufactured in Connecticut. This one was from a different company called First and Last Bakery LLC in Connecticut. And they're saying this one was also a listeria outbreak. So America's got not just pre-cooked pasta, they've also got the tomato sauce on top from 2 separate companies. Crazy. America's got a very bad case of listeria at the moment. You got food poisoning from Army Catering while you were pregnant? That doesn't sound good. Kelly said a lot of the markets get pre-made pasta in their deli. Be careful. Be careful. Rachel said, damn right, too much sodium. We don't eat stuff like that. Yeah, I don't like too much sodium. So I often check my food that I buy. I found like ramen noodles or any type of dried noodle. I found one, a Japanese type noodle. It had 2,400 milligrams of sodium in it. Not even kidding. 2,400 milligrams of sodium. That is way past your like daily limit. I think a daily limit's like 1,700 or something like that. 2,400 milligrams in one ramen noodle. That is crazy. That is like I think more than like a Big Mac, more than a bunch of things. Those noodles are the worst. I agree. Gail said, "Don't use the powder that comes with it. It's pure salt." Hey, woman of steel, how are you? You can grow alfalfa sprouts in a mason jar, right? I think that's what someone else was saying, that you could do that, that you could grow them yourself if you wanted to. Rachel said, it's crazy how much sodium is in prepackaged food. Yeah, so when Mrs. Ping was in hospital, I was using one of those like food services where you get like the refrigerated, sort of like the pasta that we were just talking about. But I had to stop ordering from the company because in each tiny little meal, like that big, in each meal had like 1,200 milligram of sodium. And I was like, 1,200 milligrams in the smallest portion of food that I've ever seen. I was like, I don't think that's okay. You shouldn't have that much sodium in food, especially like dinner and things like that. So I ended up not continuing to buy through that company. Sean said preservative, I guess. I guess it was to preserve the food. Kelly said, I never use sauce in ramen noodles. I like my own toasted sesame oil to keep the sodium down. Toasted sesame oil is pretty good. Gail said, what's alfalfa apart from a kid on an old program? It is like a little plant. It's like a little growing thing. Woman has still said, I love ramen, but I make my own soup. The powder is bad for you. That is true. Carolina said, that's crazy. Apparently they needed that to make it taste like anything. Marlene said, donuts are low in salt. That's right. Eat all the donuts. They have no sodium. No, they do have some sodium, I think. Kelly said, do you eat fast food much, Ping? I don't eat a lot of fast food. I can't remember the last time I ate a fast food thing. I think the last time I ate anything like that was probably when we went to the trial, because I had to grab lunch sometimes, and the only thing close by I think was was like a fast food place. So I used to go there sometimes, not all the time, but I think that might be the last time I ate it. And before the trial, I think the last time I had fast food was a decade beforehand. So I don't eat a lot of. The only fast food I like is the Mexican. So we have one down here called GYG, which makes, you know, half decent fast food Mexican. And it's about the only place I like. So yeah, I had McDonald's, right? Yeah. So that was back at the trial. So that's probably the last time I think I ate it. Oh, did we have McDonald's when I went to Tasmania? No, I don't think we did. But oh, that was like a couple of years ago, I think, though. Yeah, that was a while ago. Carolina said Taco Bell is the bomb. We have Taco Bell here, but there's only like one of them. There's only like one in Melbourne or something. So they're not around where I live. There's not one in my suburb. Warner still said we have Dairy Queen 2 or 3 times a year. I love taco time once in a while. We don't have any of those. Although I heard that Dairy Queen is going to come to Australia soon. They're opening up stores in Australia. And apparently recently we got one. What's the one where it has a mouse as a mascot? Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese opened up a restaurant in Australia this year. So Chuck E. Cheese is now in Australia. So we're making you hungry. You have to eat a Girl Guide cookie now. Girl Scout cookies are pretty good. Mr. DJ often sends them to me from America once a year. So we've been eating our way through this giant box of Girl Scout cookies that DJ sent us in February. So, all right. Hey, I love you all very much. I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll be back for an early show tomorrow. We are slowly working our way back to that 8 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., whatever it is. We're slowly working our way back to that early show time. So we'll be back at that show time soon. It's fun if you have children. Okay. Gayla said we got Popeyes recently, but it's not the same taste for me. I've never had Popeyes. Never had it. All right. I love you all so much. Have a good night out there. Thank you to the people who donated and support the channel. It's very kind of you all. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully at an earlier time slot. Love you all. Bye.
Jacket feeling cold against your skin, running through the chaos, letting all the sin, temptation in a bottle, ready for the night, craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite, dark desire.